Sister Wives' latest season is almost over. Fans have witnessed Kody Brown's effort to apologize to his ex-wives with this development. In a recent episode, Kody and Robyn's conversation at a restaurant was highlighted. After they sat down, Kody told Robyn that he wanted to apologize to his ex-wives. Following the sale of the Coyote Pass property and the ensuing confrontation, he made this choice. Kody was compelled to reconsider and consider his previous behavior as a result. Robyn's response upon hearing all of this was one of silence and shock. Viewers questioned this since they thought her reaction disclosed much more than what she had said. Fans are still analyzing her facial expressions and intentions as the video goes viral. Does Robyn actually agree with Kody's plan, or is there another factor at work? To learn more, continue reading. Numerous stories have also been concluded as the season draws to a close. This includes the much-anticipated sale of the Coyote Pass property for $1.5 million. Fans, however, have been talking about Kody's apparent want to apologize to everyone in his life. This was initially hinted at in the mid-season promo for his ex-wives. He finished filming Special Forces, World's Toughest Test around the same time, and he started making press appearances. TLC show merchandise he apologized throughout this period for his treatment of the older children as well as his previous girlfriends. Fans and relatives, however, doubted his genuineness. After months of silence, Leon Brown in particular spoke out against Kody's story. According to Leon's Instagram story, Kody ignored them during the funeral, never contacted them following Garrison's passing, and hasn't spoken to them since. They referred to Kody as a joke of a father and disregarded his public apology as a lie. As previously stated, Kody and Robyn met at a restaurant to talk about his desire to apologize to his former partners. Fans couldn't stop talking about it after this moment went viral. The mood in Coyote Pass felt weird, Kody explained, especially since Meri and Janelle seldom acknowledged him. In addition to Robyn's prior recommendation regarding therapy, he felt that it was time to clean up his mess. He continued by saying that he felt obligated to own all the breakups and set them free from thinking and speaking about him all the time. Robyn, Kody's current wife, sat silently in shock at his abrupt confession. She later admitted to producers that she was sorta kinda shocked, noting that she needed some time to comprehend what Kody was saying because he frequently claims things that never come to pass. Robyn gently interrupted Kody when he argued that his fury was causing him pain, saying that hurt was common, but she didn't seem entirely persuaded. On the other hand, Robyn's look caught the attention of online fans, who were not afraid to voice their opinions. A spectator questioned, "What's up with Robyn's expression?" "I don't think Robyn likes the apology idea," another person said. Her excessive blinking was also ridiculed by several, who joked that it resembled Morse code, while others took issue with her perpetual frown. Further, some viewers asserted that Robyn didn't want the ex-partners to get emotional closure. "She controls the hell out of him," an admirer wrote in a remark. "She seems insecure about the potential of the ex-wives getting back in touch with Kody," according to another admirer. Fans of Sister Wives have been watching the Brown family dynamics for years as they have twisted, tightened, and finally collapsed due to emotional power struggles, shifting allegiances, and broken promises. But one concern has persisted in haunting the fandom despite the dissolution of the multiple marriage and the departure of 3 of Kody Brown's wives. Why won't Kody offer an apology to his ex-wives? Each of Christine, Janelle, and Meri suffered years of emotional abuse, partiality, and broken communication. Long before the marriages formally fell apart, viewers saw the cracks beginning to appear. Fans were quick to blame Robyn Brown, the only wife still by Kody's side, after he recently stated that he wanted to move on but refrained from making sincere apologies. Is Robyn gently coercing Kody into not saying sorry? Is she urging him, either directly or indirectly, to keep emotional distance in order to sustain the narrative that she is the only one responsible for the breakdown of the family? A lot of admirers think the answer is yes. Additionally, the emotional hints reveal a far more nuanced tale when the layers are removed. A family split apart, but Kody's favorite voice is still there. Fans saw something startling when Kody's relationships with Christine, Janelle, and Meri soured. He seemed to constantly return to Robyn's point of view with his emotional energy, rage, irritation, and even grief. Whether on purpose or not, Robyn ended up being his main confidant and the prism through which he viewed all disagreements. Robyn frequently portrayed herself as the voice of reason, the one who desired harmony, peace, and unity among the family. However, observers saw that there was a far more powerful force behind her soft voice. Cody's perception of his ex-wife's behavior was frequently influenced by her words, nuanced facial expressions, and skillfully crafted emotional framing. Robin reminded him of who was loyal whenever tension increased, who had followed his instructions, who had stood up for his power, who supported him throughout the pandemic. Robin was also reiterating something far deeper with these reminders. She was the sole wife who had not let him down. This meticulously crafted emotional story could be upset if an apology compelled him to take responsibility for the dissolution of the multiple marriages. It might also transfer part of the accountability to her. The question then becomes, would Robin permit that to occur? Christine's flight caused a significant shift. The first domino to fall was Christine's departure. She emancipated herself rather than simply walking away. Calmly and firmly, she left without waiting for anyone to approve of her choice. Robin was deeply shaken by that act of independence. Robin's ideal multiple family system was based on shared duty, collaboration, and, above all, a united front around Cody. Christine destroyed that perception. For the benefit of the family, she disobeyed the quiet rule that wives must follow. Cody might be implying that he understood Christine's reasons for leaving, or worse, that she was correct, if he apologized to her. Furthermore, if Christine was correct, marital incompatibility wasn't the only factor contributing to the family's breakdown. It would imply that years of partiality, emotional detachment, and unjust regulations had paid off. This can portray Robin as someone who benefited from the imbalance rather than the naive peacemaker. That wouldn't be appropriate for someone as image-conscious as Robin. The story was threatened by Janelle's emotional detachment. Even more, Janelle slipped out of the marriage rather than leaving it abruptly. Christine's angry departure was not nearly as dangerous to Robin's position as her calm independence. Janelle had always been the sensible one, the one who avoided emotional gimmicks and made an effort to keep things stable in the home. Something clicked in the fan base when Janelle finally admitted that she no longer felt appreciated or respected by Cody. Though his allegations may have credibility of Janelle, steady, patient, diplomatic Janelle felt mistreated. In order to apologize to Janelle, Cody would have to admit that her emotional demands were legitimate and identify the ways in which he had disregarded or ignored her. Years of disputes in which Robin and Cody claimed the wives were irrational, unfaithful, or breaking the family would end with that revelation. Robin maintains the impression that Janelle just picked the wrong side of the family conflicts by discouraging an apology. Viewers' suspicions were validated by Mary's agonizing departure. Mary was the last to formally leave, yet she was the first to break. She continued to hope for even a glimmer of reconciliation, even though her relationship with Cody had long since soured. Rather, she was met with apathy, detachment, and ultimately, a direct declaration from Cody that their marriage had been dead for years. Robin urged Mary to persevere despite Cody's insistence that he had no interest in resuming their relationship. Many admirers think Robin did this to keep the family's perception that she wasn't the sole working wife. On paper, the plural marriage remained intact if Mary remained, even if she was emotionally abandoned. However, since Mary is no longer with him, Cody's apology would expose the mental cruelty of letting her wait for a marriage that would never come back. It would reveal a dynamic in which Robin encouraged Mary to hold on to false hope. Robin's reputation as well as Cody's would suffer from such an admission. The psychological connection in between Robin and Cody. Robin has a significant emotional impact on Cody, whether on purpose or unconsciously. Compared to his previous marriages, their bond is stronger and more profound. She gives him the approval, respect, and emotional response he so desperately needs. She upholds his power and strengthens his conviction that his ex-wives mistreated him. Cody's apology would put that emotional dynamic to the test. It would entail admitting that he wasn't merely a victim of disorder or defiance. It would entail acknowledging his part in fostering the conditions that caused multiple marriages to fail. It could even include admitting that he preferred Robin over his other wives. Additionally, Robin's current status as a pedestal in Cody's emotional landscape might be harmed if he acknowledged it. Therefore, even if Robin doesn't say it out loud, she might be urging him to stick to his guns, refrain from apologizing, and stick to the narrative in which she continues to be the devoted, innocent wife. Screen scenes that allude to subtle manipulation. Despite Robin's infrequent outbursts of rage, viewers have observed a number of actions that point to subtle manipulation. Every time there is a disagreement, she portrays herself as heartbroken by using emotional framing. This sets off Cody's defensive tendencies and frequently shifts the emotional discussion away from responsibility. She keeps bringing up fidelity, reminding Cody which of his spouses followed his stringent regulations and which did not. She subtly portrays the other wives as destructive or careless by framing herself as the only one battling to keep the family together. In group conversations, she frequently speaks for Cody, interpreting his emotions, annoyances, and expectations in ways that support her story. Robin shifted the blame back onto the women when they sought equal treatment, claiming they misinterpreted Cody's intentions. She has consistently been positioned as the focal point of Cody's emotional commitment through small gestures, nuanced remarks, and emotional indications. The influence of not offering an apology. Cody keeps emotional control by refusing to apologize. The story remains focused on his complaints rather than the suffering of the wives, because he refuses to admit the anguish he created. It enables him to portray the divorces as betrayals instead of repercussions, and this fulfills a vital function for Robin. If Cody expressed regret, it might verify the wives' justifications for departing, highlight the unbalanced family dynamics, and reveal the favoritism she benefited from. Contest her claim to be the most loyal wife. Silence has power, and Robin uses it to maintain her position. The prospects for the future, both spiritually and emotionally. The Brown family is no longer plural. A new life has been created by Christine. Janelle is now self-sufficient. Outside of the marriage, Mary has taken back her identity. Even their foundation is put to the test when everything around them collapses, but Cody and Robin are still the last couple standing. Christine and Janelle have stated that they do not require an apology in order to proceed. However, the fact that such apologies were not offered nevertheless says a lot about the emotional climate in the remaining Brown household. Robin might not be manipulating people with clear intent. She might not be giving Cody orders in hushed tones. Her impact is more subtle and sophisticated, with a foundation in skillfully constructed narratives and emotional dependence. However, her presence has undoubtedly influenced Cody's unwillingness to accept responsibility for the past, whether he is aware of it or not. And there won't be an apology until he emerges from that emotional cocoon.